Hi, this is Mike, and welcome back to 5 Minutes of Fantasy Sports. So, for me, my fantasy basketball playoffs are over. Unfortunately, I did not get first place or second place, but silver lining, I got third place. So, my semifinals matchup, I was tied 4-4. The tie was in turnovers, and because I was the 3 seed going into the playoffs instead of the 2 seed, I lost and I did not make the finals matchup. So very sad, but I know some of you might still be in your fantasy basketball playoffs. So wanted to talk about some players that I think you should consider adding. It's always it's always a weird fantasy basketball playoff weeks in the last weeks. And the players that are available, sometimes they rest players because they're going into back-to-backs. Like, for example, today I had James Harden was out. Josh Hart, who's become quite the fantasy basketball player, was out as well. So I'd like to get you some players that I think would be worth adding. So the first person I would suggest looking for in your league is Precious Achua on Toronto. He's been playing pretty well the last couple weeks. He's getting around 30 minutes a game. Even when he's not getting 30 minutes a game, he's still putting up some decent numbers. So he's averaging, it looks like, over the last 2 weeks, about 15 points a game, give or take. Getting some good rebounds, assists, maybe a couple steals and blocks combined, as well as a few three-pointers here and there. So he's someone that'll get you some decent stats. If you're dealing with injuries or you got a guy out for the day, I would suggest adding him. The other person I would suggest is Alex Caruso, the GOAT, if he's available. He's only 43% rostered. Alex Caruso is someone who can make a huge difference. His first game back, he came off the bench, wound up with 4 steals and a block. So before he went down, he was leading the league in steals. They just put him in the starting lineup last game, so I would say moving forward, he's someone that can make a pretty good difference coming off the bench. And he's got a game 22nd, 24th, 26th, so he's got a few games this week as well, which is nice. So if you can add him tonight, add him tonight. I would also recommend Gallinari if he's available in your league. He just had a great game on Sunday. Put up 3 threes, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He's not a steal block guy anymore, really. They might throw the ball and it'll bounce off his head, and that counts as a steal, I guess. But he's not. He's someone, if you need shooting and scoring, I'd go for him. The rest of the players are kind of up and down. The ones to watch are the injured players. So Jamal Murray, let's see what it says for him. He's not close to returning to game action, so leave him alone. Lonzo Ball, I think, had a setback as well. Yeah, he's a pause in his rehab. He won't run for the next 10 days, so he's not that close to playing. Ben Simmons, I don't think he's going to play. He's recovering from a herniated disc. What else? Yeah, Jared Allen, I think he's going to be back in a couple of weeks. He'll be able to return to the floor within the next 3 weeks, which is probably after most of our playoffs. So if you're looking for center, the guy I'd recommend is Claxton. LaMarcus Aldridge is out for a while. And Drummond was actually out this game too, so Claxton got some decent minutes. And if you look at his shooting percentage, his field goal percentage is great. He'll get you some good shots. He's a close to the rim guy. You're not going to get any threes out of him. But this last game he had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks, and only 1 turnover. So those are great numbers. He's usually not so great at free throws, but if you're desperate for center stats, I would look at Claxton. He's someone who really is playing because he doesn't really have much of an option other than him in Brooklyn. So there are some other centers, but guys like Cam Johnson, I think he's out for a while. He's been out, ever since March 6th. Oladipo's back, but he's not putting up great stats or anything. He's here and there, and he had back spasms. So, Kelly Olynyk, he's not playing many minutes. Paul George, I don't think, is going to be back this season, at least this fantasy season. Anthony Davis would be the other one I'd suggest. I think he's still a couple weeks away, though. Let me check on him. But the main thing is kind of look over your matchups. Let me check Anthony Davis and see what stats you might be close in, and try to add maybe a player for the week that can get you something. So, I don't think Anthony Davis is going to be back. I had 4 horsemen. I had Harden, Curry, and then I had Towns that I got in a trade, and Anthony Davis I got in a trade. And if I would have had Anthony Davis, things would have been different. But wouldas and couldas, doesn't really make a difference. So anyway, that's all I have to say about those ads. I think hopefully if you're still playing fantasy basketball, you should know what you're doing. It's always tough with the end of the year when your team is resting guys. I'll just look at my team, even though they didn't accumulate stats today because my season's over. Harden was out. Cameron Payne was out Sunday. If Poku's out there, Poku's been not carrying my team, but he's been pretty good. He's 34% rostered. He's been getting minutes close to the 30s, and he's been putting up. He had a 15 rebound game, which was nice. He had a 2 block game. He's not a great shooter, although today he did okay. But he's someone who gets some decent stats. RJ Barrett, I think he should be pretty universally owned. Yeah, he is. Steven Adams, 72%. He's probably not available. Devin Vassell was probably 41%. He's been putting up okay stats as well. He's been starting, getting 30 minutes a game. So really you want to look at minutes and see how many minutes you can get out of your guys. Even Marcus Morris, he's only 55% rostered, so he might be someone that's worth picking up. But yeah, I'm going to start shifting focus to baseball. I might do some two-a-days myself. And I got fantasy baseball coming up, so I'm going to do some episodes just kind of getting ready for baseball, looking over your team, getting together a strategy that might work for your draft. So for now, I'm going to call it on this episode, and hopefully I'll have another one coming up soon.